Wow, okay. This is Academy of Tone number 64.
Yes.
And today we are reunited with Mr. Richard Morgan.
Yeah. Thanks for having me back. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, you've been busy with soccer and other things.
Yeah, there was a little football tournament going on, which caused me to be elsewhere.
Yeah, which is all good. Yeah, I mean we had fun with the what is it, the Euro finals, and unfortunately UK didn't win in the end.
Yeah, I mean England for the first time in my lifetime, we got to the final, the very last game.
Yeah.
And after 2 minutes we scored, and I thought this can't be happening.
Yeah.
Because the only time England ever won one of these tournaments, the World Cup, was in 1966.
Oh yeah,
so,
This the big thing with the Germans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 4-2 against West Germany in the final. And not many people remember that, and the people who were kids then are like pensioners now.
Yeah.
So it's about time to get the chance to do it, and then we scored after 2 minutes, and then in the next 120 minutes we unfortunately didn't win, and then it went to penalties. The Elfmeterschießen, as the Germans call it, and when it goes to penalties in an England match,
it doesn't work.
What's gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, we did have some fun with the whole soccer theme as well. We had a little video. Maybe some of you guys have seen it, and I want to show you this video again, just for fun. And then we show you some outtakes for the rehearsals, which are even funnier. Can we see that video that we had?
That's enough. I mean, we're practicing for the Euros. We've got a big game. You're playing blues again. So we're confiscating this. I'm taking this amp, and I'm going to do what so many Englanders have failed to do.
Kick some ass.
Chris Waddle, Aaron Southgate. This is for you guys.
Got it! Should we give it back to him?
No.
Okay.
I think we should give it back to him.
It won't work anymore. So.
Let's see. I have my phone, I have my speaker, and I have my pleasure. And here we go. Yeah, that was a tough one for the amp.
The amp survived better than my foot.
Yeah.
I got a bruise, quite big, on the side of my foot from doing that. Don't try this at home. If you're angry with your AMP1, don't kick it. I mean, I was wearing special steel toe-capped shoes to do that because we thought it might hurt, and it hurt anyway. So, the amp is tougher than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And for me, the funny thing was when you rehearsed how to kick the amp, we had some kind of almost injuries, and some of them are funny. I mean, maybe we can watch whatever. I think we have two. Just play one, and we see which one this was. The one where they kicked the amp, and Kai couldn't catch it. Maybe. Yeah, let's see.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah. Wow!
There we go. That's a good scoop.
Help! Yeah, I mean, this was, hard for the amp, and of course hard for you, because you hit how many times? 20, 50 times?
In practice, yeah.
Yeah.
We did quite a few, and it was hardest for Kai, trying to save it as well. But I mean, what we were also doing it for was to prove that the amp is actually gig worthy,
Yeah.
Because, normally you're not kicking it, but you might be stamping up and down on it 20, 30, 50 times during a concert, and we proved it.
Yeah, and I mean, in the actual clip, you see there is no edit, there is no cut. It's like all from the beginning where I play the amp until it's unplugged, until you kick it and it's catched, and back to me, there is not any edits. So this was the proof that the amp can take some physical stress.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was important to have it so there was no cuts in
Yeah.
the middle just to prove
Yeah.
that it was real. And it was real. And
Yeah. And the amp still works.
Yeah.
It's all fine. Okay, but the whole thing goes back to this episode here is about, okay, finally we are back on stage. I'm allowed to play a little bit with my band. I had a gig last weekend with my Blue Plays Hendrix project, and we will show you a nice interview with Reggie Worthy, who is the bass player in my band. At the end of this episode, he used to be kind of the original bass player with Ike and Tina Turner back in the days, and he's been around, and his story is amazing. He drove all from the West Coast to the East Coast to California. He arrived there with 75 cents in his pocket, and 2 weeks later he got the call from Ike and Tina Turner for an audition. And then, he went on world tours and stuff. And then he finally ended up in Germany and all that. It's totally interesting. Reggie is such a character and, of course, a killer bass player. Yeah. And talking about Hendrix, I was playing this very noisy fuzz. Yeah, it is. What is it called? Yeah, we can show you. This is a Jimi Hendrix fuzz by Dunlop. I have this fuzz for many, many years. This is when I bought my. I think this was my first fuzz back in the early 90s or something like that. And I'm using this with the vintage channel on the AMP1. Yeah, this is the original Jimi Hendrix tone when it sounds like, this is like a cranked amp. With the fuzz. Okay.
So it sounds massive. There's two knobs on it, volume and fuzz, and they're both cranked.
Cranked,
effectively.
Yeah.
So what are the settings on the vintage channel there?
It's also cranked. It's on 10, and the boost is not all the way up, but it's and the EQ is 555, my standard settings.
Yeah, okay.
And we have this little ad that I found. Can we show that? We found Jimmy's little secret in tone. Guess what? Yeah. So that's Jimmy's tone using a fuzz and, of course, some old nice Marshall. And that's what I recreated. But actually, today is episode number 64. And there's another topic before we start to build pedal boards and all that stuff. 64 is a magic number to me when it comes to Stratocasters. So let me plug in straight into amp with no fuzz anymore.
While Thomas does that, is my mic working, guys? Tell me in the chat. A couple of people have been saying I'm quite quiet. Yes or no? Am I loud enough? Just let us know with a quick
I can give you more
please.
volume. I can give you more volume. Rich, how is this?
Well, it sounds good to me, but I'm talking in the room. The guy's got to tell us in the comments. We have some pretty nice comments coming in already, by the way, Thomas.
What is this? Yeah?
Alien Weather Motel saying the AMP1 is extremely reliable.
Oh yeah.
Eternalism saying AMP1 foot 0, which is true. The amp came off much better than my foot, that's for sure.
Hey.
They're
Yeah?
saying no. They're saying no, I'm not loud enough.
Still not loud enough.
Bisschen runter, slightly down.
Rich needs to be down or I have to be down?
Rich.
Rich, okay, I put him down. Oh, sorry.
They're saying no, it's okay.
It's good for me now. So.
okay,
Yep. Now it's okay.
Okay.
Now we're good.
Maybe there's a little latency. Okay.
Excellent, thank you guys.
And by the way, so this is now number 64. Maybe you can hold that
Yeah,
or
I
put
sure
it in
can.
the corner.
Yep.
You might have seen that before. That's my 64 Strat, and that's a beautiful, all original. Besides the frets, but I still have the original frets. Of course, they are not in the guitar anymore because I didn't enjoy playing it. But
Was it tiny frets on the original?
yeah, and they were a bit too much worn.
Yeah.
And it was rattling a bit, and then if I would have done a fret job, there would have been no frets left and stuff like that. Therefore, I decided I want that's clean guitar also playable, and I put in new frets. But this is all. I mean, this is original three-way switch. 1, 2, 3. This is how it was back in the days. It's nearly mint. I mean, this original. Everything is original on this guitar. Original pickups, original hardware, original finish. No paint job. One owner, and I know him, so it is a super clean. But for you guys, let me explain why I love 64. Everybody knows me for the 61 Strat, and 61 is my favorite year, but 64 is my second favorite. And the reason for that is in 64 they came with a veneer fingerboards. In 61 they had the slapboards, which is a thicker rosewood top, which has more bite. And 64 is the first year with this kind of round, thinner rosewood top. And that gives the guitar a warmer tone. Clearly hear that there is no tone control on the bridge pickup, so that this has the super twang, and the middle already has the warmer tone. Tone control, and this one.
So on a three-way switch, like on a 64, we're literally having one pickup per selector.
Position.
Yeah. So none of those quacky
sounds
in between tones.
You have to find them and hold the switch there. I show you. This is what they guys actually did back in the 60s. It's possible, but you have to really be patient and. That's a typical 64 tone. And of course it sounds killer when we use it like on the vintage channel. this guitar, not modified, not my treble bleed mod. So it is warmer in, you know, lower volume settings. But this is how it is, and it's okay to have that as well. On gigs, I prefer to have a treble bleed guitar.
Yep.
So I remember one show where I used that guitar in the studio, at a friend of mine's studio, and I had my 61 and this kind of back to back in one gig back, and then I had a live concert and I came to the concert, and then oh fuck, I have the wrong guitar. I played my 61, but I broke a string. Then I had to play this one, and if it's on full, I can be totally happy with it. But when all my shimmery, nice, you know, sizzle, sparkle elements that I use so much as Thomas Blug, they were not there, and I was missing that badly. But anyway, it's still a great guitar, you know. And I will not modify it because it's none of the soldering joints have been touched.
Are the pickups between a 61 and a 64 different at all? Or, yeah.
These are grey bottom pickups, and the 61 has black bottom pickups. They use different wire, and they also sound a bit different. And yeah, but it's a cool guitar. So, and since I never do anything without a reference, I have another 64 here, same year, and by the way, both have the big Fender logo. The big logo tells you it's the second half of 64. The spaghetti logo, like on my 61, which is somewhere, but not here. It's in this corner, I'll forget it.
There's just Strats in every corner of this room right now.
The 61 is over there. But anyway, the spaghetti logo is the small logo. But these are both from the same period. Okay, and this guitar belongs to a friend of mine from this area, and it actually comes from Saarbrücken because it has a sticker here from the Saarbrücken. It says Louis. This was FC Louis, which is the famous music store that has been in town for ages. So let's see what this. Oh, okay. This is you can tell. And this three-way switch, it's a hard one. Position. There's something about the middle pickups on these guitars. I like them because they are so super woody. Bridge. Neck.
And yep.
Straight back to mine.
Do you know what modification this one had? It's clearly had an extra pot or knob or something installed at some point.
Maybe somebody put in an extra volume control to make a tele blend or something like that. I don't know about this mod. So. Different, huh?
Absolutely different, yep.
Yeah, they're both great, but and one difference is the setup job of the, what's it called, the vibrato, the tremolo.
Yep.
This one connects to the body, which gives that an extra attack and punch. This is free floating because I want to do my. Sounds more like me, I think, already, but that's just a setup job.
Yeah.
And probably guitar has also slightly different, but I think what we hear is more the setup now than the guitar substance itself. It's they are so. What's your serial number? This is L29826.
Where's it on the back of the neck plate?
Can you read
It's
it?
L89699.
Yeah, mine is 826. I think they are pretty close.
Yeah.
And then that's, maybe one more time so we know what's the character of the year 66. I mean, there is something in 64. Sorry, 64. So I think there's no sparkle, but the tightness that comes from the plate.
Yeah, I was going to say yours is more open.
Yeah.
There's more range.
And this is more, ballsy in a way. Not changing anything, just how hard I pick. I love Strats.
What about the difference in the neck profile and shape between the 64s and the 61? Is there much of a difference there for you?
Yeah, I mean, the 61 is a little bit slimmer, but these have a very, very similar profile. It feels like almost the same. Mine is a bit more matte on the back, feels, but 61 has a thinner neck, usually. Then they became thicker, 62, 63, and then 64, it's thinner again. And so some 63s are too thick for me. But hey, this is all a matter of taste. I got small hands, and so I don't like them too fat. Some people need different neck profiles. Some people believe a thick neck sounds better. I disagree. It sounds different. There's always something that goes with it that you might like and something that you don't like. So I think it's more complex. If you come to such easy conclusions, I'm always a bit skeptical. That's the thing. Yeah, so do we have any questions about 64 Strats? Hey Thomas, awesome tone. My brother. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Poo Ninja again, but anything cool. So this is.
Is it a D or a C-shaped neck?
This is. Good question. I would say it's a D. That's a D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a D.
They're pretty round. Yeah. Definitely no V shape like the 50s, and I would say this is a D. Okay. Back to the topic. Going back on stage after so many months with no gigs at all. How to get your gear back in shape. A few things you should double check before you do that. It's like you go on a long trip with your car and your car hasn't seen whatever, an oil change for a year or stuff like that. So there's a few things you should do with your guitar. I mean, I'm not doing this because that's not my guitar, and it's there's the scratchy pot, okay? I'm famous for having scratchy pots as well on my guitars because I use them too much. Almost every note is a different position. But that can be fixed easily with something like a spray, Dioxide 5, or what I also like to use is this contact Vaseline spray. And this also goes nicely on like plugs and sockets. There is sometimes corrosion, if you have your stuff in a rehearsal room and maybe it's a wet room, some humidity there and it has been sitting there for months. And then I had that once and I thought, my cabinet is broken. No signal at all. And I cranked my amp to 6 stage volume. No signal. Amp broken? No. Amp works. BluBOX signal works. What's wrong? And then I was kind of moving the cable and suddenly, I was shocked of the sheer volume I hadn't experienced for a long time. And of course you can like turn your plugs and try to get it off, but a spray like that does a brilliant job. And it is both you spray a little bit and you turn, and then you will see that the oil is kind of moving even. And the other thing, do I have a pot here? Maybe I have. Here's a pot. Like, this is an expensive one. A vintage pot from a Stratocaster. By the way, there's some numbers here and it tells you the year. I was just looking in my... Wait a minute. That's a 66. This should be a 66 CTS pot. And like in the Strat, if I have a scratchy volume pot on the Strat, what I usually do is I don't remove the whole scratch plate. I just get these screws out, which is like this one on the tremolo, this one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's just enough to lift the scratch plate and then have the whatever snoozle, or what is this called?
Nozzle.
Okay. and this goes under the scratch plate, and if your pot is wired like that, you can then get this in here. You shouldn't spray the housing, you should get to the inside. And when you look really under the scratch plate, you can see there's a thing, and then it touches the thing, and one is enough, just a tiny little thing. Then move the pot, and the whole thing will be fine again. So that's the stuff you can do with scratchy pots or switches or plugs, connectors, and that stuff that helps. The other thing, if the strings get stuck, it's a lubricant thing. That's a white special paste. A friend of
Yep.
yeah, weird stuff.
Does look a bit strange, doesn't
Yeah,
it? I wondered what it was when I came in the room. I thought, what is this
yeah,
sample of white liquid that we've left here?
yeah. I mean,
on
you
the
know, I
cab.
have all these special friends that give me all these drug style, whatever it is.
These crazy fans.
Yeah, and it actually works fine. And some people have like a weapon powder for guns and some kind of so anything lubricant. You can have a pencil also and do this with graphite, or my dear friend Trevor Wilkinson has this little paraffin or whatever this is, graphite. It's a graphite lipstick that it's just a lipstick, and then you put that on your nut or wherever you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So don't mess this up with your girlfriend's red one. So there's some options in that direction. Of course, when the guitar hasn't been played much, or you should simply double check stuff to have that confident feeling of, now I'm going on stage and I know my gear is in shape.
Yeah, this is kind of the thing that you would do in between every gig. If you're out on the road, every other gig, every week or whatever. But especially now, when you're coming back after 18 months, having not played seriously, then you've got to do it really. Yeah.
And for me, I mean, when I gig like regularly, like every week, what I'm doing like now again, I have another gig on this Saturday coming up, and I'm getting so confident about my gear because I know it's working, and then I'm getting lazy. I'm not changing strings, which I should, and taking care of all that. But this, like, it worked last time, it's fine, boom, it sits there for the whole week. Then I do my BluGuitar week with the company, doing other things, and then on the weekends, that's my guitar. Okay, put it back in the gig bag, and off we go, having fun. And most of the time, I don't even check it anymore.
Yeah.
And if the string breaks, there's drum solo. But for me, this is all works. You should be a bit better prepared. This is my, please be better than me.
Yeah. Well, people are different about strings as well, aren't they? Because I know some people who'll change their strings every show.
Yeah.
Or every session, whatever they're doing. And I know some people, and I'm one of them, who will change a string when it breaks.
Yeah. I'm more like you guys.
Yeah.
Like you. And I totally understand if you put on fresh strings for every show. I only do that when I have super important gigs, like with orchestra, or like this is the show in front of 50,000, or the show of the shows. But when I do a pub gig or like a local, it's hey, I make fun out of that, and then it's a different role. But when I'm a hired gun for somebody else, I need to be perfect, and breaking a string is not an option. So therefore, I have spare guitars with me in that case, and I have fresh strings on the guitar. Of course, there's always a trade-off. Fresh strings can go out of tune a bit, but you know the tricks. You can stretch them. You can play them in at home. You can do stuff to it, but still, if you play the gig on a guitar, the strings have been used on a real gig. They are better in tune on the second gig. So, and then they're even better in tune on the third gig. And then, stuff like that. And then they get maybe a little bit dull because I sweat a lot. But what you can do is, there's stuff like this here. There's a little cloth in there. And this, there's some liquid in there, and then you put that over the strings, and then you clean it like that, and that's actually good to prevent the corrosion on strings. So this makes your strings last longer, and if you clean them with that, what is it called, fast thread, they feel fresher. So if I play my fourth, fifth gig, thinking, oh man, these strings are really old. There's like they're kind of getting this sticky feeling. It's like, okay, I probably refresh them for tonight and play even 3-4 gigs with that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing here.
Got a really interesting question
Yeah.
that's come in, and it's going to take us off topic slightly, but I would like to hear your opinion on it. It's from David, who says, "Hey Thomas, is a Fender Master Built Strat, or from someone like John Cruz, or other master builders with cryo tuning, as good as a real old vintage Strat?"
I'm totally hard and honest. No, they are great guitars and they are great builders. I mean, you know, all these master builders are great guys. They have seen tons of old guitars, like myself, and they spend their whole life analyzing what makes those guitars so special and so great. And actually, you can get a lot of the mojo into a new instrument, and you can get a lot of details right if you do that. Pick the right woods, make the right choice with the pickups, have the right pickups, and all that. On Strats, I've done everything with different people, with different. I tried every hardware available. I tried every pickup, and I made my friend Andreas Kloppmann, wind me so many different sets of pickups. I went through all the wires from whatever it's called. I don't even want to know. Every time he gives me a buzz, rings me up and says, "I got this forward or original wire from blah blah blah." I say, okay, send me a sample, and then we go for that. And is it exactly the same? No. Is it as good? Let's put it that way. If the old guitar is not a good one, it might be equally good. But if the old guitar is a good one, you can't touch it. There is a certain level about real old vintage instruments, and I think it's due to the fact that the materials being used have a certain character that is a magic combination, or is what we are used to listen to. And what our heroes played in their, you know, Jimi Hendrix played a 64 Strat as well, or whatever, a 66 or a 70 just before he died, and it was a new guitar. So what's wrong there? But when you play those old instruments today, they have been played 40 years and even more, 60 years, and the more you play an instrument, the better it gets. So this advantage, even if cryo tuning gets somewhere in that direction, it's not the same like somebody played that guitar for so many years. And this, and it's also a personal thing. If you can tell what kind of player had played that instrument. I regret not having bought a few instruments because I didn't know that well. I knew the guitars were killer, but they were kind of a bit too expensive because they were players. And I regret it because the players that played those guitars made those guitars such great player instruments. The music out of that guitar, for me, was better than the ones that were cleaner and worth more money. So I didn't buy those guitars because I didn't have the money, or they were too expensive for what it was. Because, you know, change this, change that, it's not the money anymore that you can ask for that guitar. And then, you know, I don't want to lose money. But I at least regret one or two guitars which I didn't buy because I can remember sounds so well. It still hurts that I don't have that one or the other guitar in my universe, in my collection, or available to me.
What were they? Or what was maybe one of them that you regret?
Actually, both 64 Strats.
Ah, okay.
And I can tell one. I still remember the 164, which was the one that I had to choose between my 61 white Strat and that 61. That was simply too expensive because it was a celebrity owner guitar. And at age 17, I didn't have that money to buy a celebrity owner, even though it was only 4,000 Deutschmarks, which is like 2,000 euros today. But, you know, being 17, I didn't have the money. and that guitar was good, really good. The 61 that I bought was also really good. I should have bought them both, and my life would have been easy. My hunt for the perfect Strat tones could have ended that day if I had the budget. And funnily, I knew that even on that day. I knew that. Anyway, but so I couldn't do that. And then many years later, still searching 64, I found one that comes also from a player from this area, and it was a great player, one of those great players. But hey, Fred's nightmare. Somebody was, I don't know, Raspel. Some
grating it.
Yeah,
like with a cheese grater or something.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Horrible. I
Mhm.
mean, the guitar was mistreated very, very badly, but the tone was killer. And the amount of money somebody asked for that guitar was twice the real value. Somebody might have paid it for it, but I mean, if I had too much money sitting around, I would have done it. But it was like, I can't do it. It's like, hey man, this is too expensive. So I let that one go. But it was a great guitar. And today, I probably see that differently because, well, now I have a clean one. So I don't, that thing is sorted. That's my only real clean guitar in my whole collection. This 64 Strat, this is like the cleanest guitar in my whole collection, which is a great guitar and all that. So I have at least one really collector's guitar. Okay, that's a long story.
Yeah, but an interesting one.
Yeah. Or we could talk about vintage instruments and their personalities. There is actually this channel I'm doing with Number One in Hamburg where they bring in their own guitars and from other famous people. I had Rudolf Schenker's Flying V from 58, 200, 350,000 worth, whatever, but actually a real great instrument. So I'm super lucky and super proud to be able to get hands on such instruments. I wouldn't even buy such a guitar first because I don't have the money. Second, it is you can't go on stage with something like that. It's like you put a big mark on it, and this is like your salary of a whole year.
Yeah, there's only one man who goes on stage with guitars like that, and that's Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah. Well, that's his thing, and maybe he has the right insurance, or maybe he takes the risk, and
he can just buy another. I think if he breaks one, he's good.
It's just part of his marketing too, which is all fair. It's all good, but I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm looking for guitars that I have my 61. And this is like, it started as a tool, as a characterful tool. This is why I bought it, and it still is up until to this day, and that's all good. So, and if there's a new little mark on it, it's getting even more beautiful. Just like myself, it's like getting older is not a problem with this guitar.
Yeah, and every new scratch or mark tells a story, right?
Yeah.
You know where you were when you did that.
And I know who did it. Sometimes it was me. Sometimes it was a Thijs van Leer, little mark, or it was a Raoul Walton, my bass cut, or it was Gully when he got a bit overexcited at the last fight and when he rubbed the 61 Strat on the bass strings of his cheapo bass. But it's okay. I mean, this guitar has to stand up, and it has to be used in that way. I don't want to go and I don't smash it like Pete Townsend, but I use it a proper way.
Yeah. So anyway, you are back with that guitar, playing gigs.
Yeah.
What was your setup for those gigs? That's what we want to talk about now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because people will be thinking now, again, they haven't played shows in a long time. Hopefully they're thinking about
maybe refreshing their rig, thinking about how they want to do it. The day of the 4x12 and the massive walls of amps and cabs it's possibly over.
Yeah.
Who knows? People want something lighter. They want a smaller solution. And
Yeah.
I believe you have an answer to that question.
Sure. Because I play my rig that I have been playing for the last 5 years. And, and this is based on the AMP1, and it's based on my Fat Cap, and it's based on the BluBOX. And hey, every time I go on stage, I'm happy again. It's like, it's so refreshing to hear yourself again with my tone. For me, plug instant happiness. I'm going on stage and there's nothing I'm missing. It's but I found my tone. I'll do another episode about tone chasing or tone hunting for your own tone. I thought about that thing the other day, because for me, I know what I want and I can tell you the strategies about it. And when I recognize I got what I want, it's like I make music. I don't even think about if this is a BluGuitar or whatever, if this is my amp. It could be anything else. And like in the other episode when Ollie was here with his white GCM 800, it's so close. You can plug me into this 800 and I couldn't tell if I would play my amp or the 800, because they're both so alike and they're both so much my tone that I would go, it's me. You know, so if it's on that level, and I don't mind what brand it is, but if it's on that level, if you have found your tone, and then you can actually concentrate on the music again, and that's nice. So for me, maybe I can give you a little bit the what is the word, a backflash or a look back on why I use that gear again, and what it actually does and what it worked. When I started, maybe we start with the cabinet, because there's in this corner. Wait a minute, I grabbed that guitar, and maybe you can hold up the cabinet. So there's too many things on top of that.
Yeah, is this going to fall off? This?
Yeah, it might,
Yeah.
because I removed the. So Rich will show you.
Bring it in and sit it down here.
Yeah, here it is. So this is a Fat Cap, and what I have done in the past, this is my old Fat Cap. I made the, what is it, front buffer removable.
Yep.
So, and here you can see I put in the absolute non-compromise microphone, which is the Shure SM7B. It's the big brother of the 57. And that was always my favorite in the studio and for live. So this is what I have been using. And on the back of this cabinet, there is an XLR output. So I have the consistency of the same tone on every show. This is what I used for the last, 10 years at least, or even more, even before BluGuitar existed. So, and wait a minute, clear the picture a little bit. So here is the capsule, the silver thing, and this is a special homemade construction. And this is the cabinet that I used with, I don't know how many hundreds of gigs. Hundreds, literally hundreds. And before there was BluGuitar, I used Celestion greenbacks. I blow some speakers. Now I have my own Fat Cap speaker, which handles a bit more power, but has, I think, the optimal, the best character for this housing. So it started on the greenback thing with compromises, and now it's kind of maxed out in that way. So what we can do, let me try. This is a hard one now. I will plug in that cabinet at a lower volume, otherwise our studio will fall apart. How can we do it? No, I put it in here, and I put it in here. And then I don't know because I don't have the monitor, but I will try to show you. This is, which guitar can I play? I play my Hendrix vintage signature model because we go back to Hendrix or whatever. Let's stay on that theme. So, if I unplug the line out from the BluBOX, I only have a mic available, which is this mic here. So let me unplug. So I think now we listen to the BluBOX. So I unplug this, and this should be no tone on your side. And now I try, let me see if I get this working on the mixing console. Unmute that channel. And then, let's see, we put this to the main arm, and we put everything in the middle, and we need the mic input. Where is the mic input? Ah, there's a low cut, line in. I think this is signal now. Let's check. Ah, yeah, okay, that's definitely the microphone, okay? Hello, hello world, this is the microphone. And this is... So I have no idea how it sounds, but it should sound great because I did everything for the ideal position. Now I switch back.
Louder.
Okay, I switch back for the BluBOX. And the BluBOX should be here now. And this is... is gone, the microphone, and the BluBOX is on. Okay? I don't know what you hear, but I've done this test on a PA system with a wireless, switching from my built-in mic, like a real mic in front of a real speaker versus the BluBOX. And the BluBOX sounded better. Whatever. You can decide now. I hope this experiment works for you guys. But this is... It's so big, it's so balanced, it's, you know... yeah. Maybe we can go back for the mic one more time, because I like ABs. So... switch on the mic. And then one more time for the BluBOX. So whatever. In my comparison, the BluBOX sounds bigger, not as nasal, more balanced, warmer, more in your face, everything. And you can't get any closer than this. So this was the best that I could do before I had the BluBOX. And now I have the BluBOX.
So these days, you don't even need a cabinet when you're gigging? You're totally happy to have a BluBOX, or do you also need a cab for the stage sounds too?
Yeah, I want my cabinet still for my own monitor. And yeah, and there's one little thing I want to show you on our cabinets is Well, first the cabinet. It feels great to have a cabinet on stage. Some people, they play only direct, which is fair enough if you have a functional gig at a wedding and you have to be super small because you are in a corner around the buffet and your 1 square meter is for the whole band. I've done things like that too. And suddenly Harold Faltermeyer was around and said, man, you're pretty good. And it's like, you composed Axel F? Right, yeah. So, and it's all, things like that happened. And the buffet was brilliant and the people were super rich. But I was only playing a very, very, very small stage, but with some nice people. Anyway, so for me, having a cabinet on stage is fun because that's moving the air that I'm wanting between me, the guitar, and this is the real deal. And the guitar plays differently because this is the electric guitar. But here's a little comment about the grill cloth we are using. I don't have a lighter here, but if you burn this, you can smell it's not oil or plastic, it's paper. So this is rolled paper. And this has been used on the vintage Marshall cabinets in the 60s. And that's one part that makes the harshness go away. It keeps the nice and soft high end, the clarity, but it gets the aggressive harshness out of the way. I love it. And therefore, we use that specific grill cloth. And by the way, in case the whole thing would go in waves or whatever, or you hit it in the car, put something in, and you can simply get it straight again by having like a flower sprayer with water. So you spray in a little bit water, and then you put it flat on the ground, and the next morning it will be dry and totally straight again. So that's the little thing about the BluGuitar grill cloth things. And actually, with the real serial model, we don't have this Velcro fixing here. It's kind of screwed from the inside. You can still remove it if you open the cabinet and then remove the screws, blah, blah, blah. But you can't get it off like I just did it here. So, okay. Let's get that out of the way. And it's all good. And have Rich back on the seat here. Mm-hmm. So for me, the point is, it's for me, it's even if I'm not allowed to play high volume, I still want a cabinet. I understand guys that play only in-ears, that they have quiet stage, they have only drums or even electric drums. But hey, I miss some of the fun. So you heard the BluBOX sounds killer. That's perfect for going direct. But on the other hand, if I have a real guitar speaker on stage, I feel like a proper rock musician. And that's, to me, that extra level that I don't want to miss. Yeah. So that's that point. The other thing we can do is, if we don't have the BluBOX, we can use the built-in recording out, which is also hopefully easy to demonstrate. Unplug this cable here and plug it into the recording out. And here we go. Try to compensate the volume. Oh, I got my delay. So, yeah, it's all here. Wait a minute, I have the speaker still connected. Let me get this off and get this in. And now, so it's quiet here in the studio. It's better for me to judge because now I hear the studio monitors with this is recording out. Okay, and then I go back for the BluBOX. Get it in here, okay. Okay, the level is too high. I put the amp down. It's bigger.
Yeah. We have done an episode where you talked in detail with lots of scientific diagrams about the differences between the DI on the amp and the BluBOX, but maybe just for the guys watching this who haven't seen that, what would be your short summary of the differences and the advantages and disadvantages of both?
Okay, the built-in speaker simulation on the AMP1 simply works, and it's great. It's one sound only, and it's in the between the killer clean tones and the big overdrive tones, and it works for both worlds equally. On the BluBOX, you have 16 different cabinets to choose from, and of course I found my personal preference and I tuned everything to that. That's the tone hunting thing here. And when you are on that level, where you don't have a compromise anymore, I kind of fine adjust everything towards that one cabinet that I always use. I get to a higher sound quality level overall. But if I wouldn't have a BluBOX, I would know tone hunting, tone chasing, also how to get my settings a bit closer to what I want to hear. You know, so this was the A/B comparison without any adjustments. But let me do a few adjustments and I'm getting closer. So, but here is the other thing. The BluBOX gives you more cabinet tones, and since they are more specific and they are the resolution, so to speak, of the frequency curves is way more fine, since it's using the IR technology, and I tweaked whatever out of my reference cabinets to get what I had in my head at the right point for the balance of the warmth and that in blah, 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 in every cabinet. It is a bit, I believe it's a better quality. It's just that extra 5%, which is possible. And if you compare that to the real microphone, I think we are on the same level. And in certain situations, you are even better with a BluBOX. For me, with this cabinet in here, I don't need a mic in front of any other cabinet on stage. Maybe in the studio one day when I have my Alnico loaded Marshall cabinet that has 4 12s and only 60 watt, where one speaker is rattling and broken, I might mic up one of those speakers, but only in the studio, and only that, and it's in here as well. So, we talk about gigs. Forget it. It's over. Mics are out. That's my message. And I'm not. If you want to use a mic, fine. It worked for everybody all the times. But believe me, there is no compromise to use that. I even prefer that. So you can go either way. But this is more consistent. This is more reliable. And to me, I found my tone, so it sounds better for me. So if we are on that level where it's about the tone, your tone, and if you found your tone, any parameter that is not recreating that tone is a compromise. Even potentially, if you have your perfect cabinet on stage, but if the mic is not placed right, it's a compromise. With this, it's of course you can put the knobs at the wrong settings, then it's but I noticed this right away. I know my tone, and I can hear it, and I feel it too when I play on stage. Even if I have my own cabinet, I can hear how my guitar sounds through the PA. It's I'm home, and this is why my sound check takes 10 seconds. That's all I need. Power, leveled, done. Next. And that's the good thing about once you have found your solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the speaker. You know, go direct, go BluBOX, go cabinet, go no cabinet mic. So there's many choices, and of course, every option suits a different situation. And I can only talk for myself, what makes most sense for me. But I don't want to miss my Stack 1970 cabinet anymore. I could gig with it only even with monitors without having a real cabinet, but I prefer a real cabinet. You know, I've done that, and it's like, okay, and anything before was torture for me. I was never, I felt so bad using direct outs, but with this, the first time I kind of accepted it, and so, okay, but I'm a bit sneaky, special, whatever when it comes to, you know, yeah. Anyway, so that's the thing about the tone on stage, and how to mic it up on Go Direct. What I think is important. The other thing is, if you make your pedalboard, there's different ways how to deal with that, and I have seen them all, and probably they are good for different ways. You know what? Get the Hendrix out of the way. If the fuss is, we clean up the place. Here I give you all this, so we make a clean, nice surface. The lubricants, yeah. And there's my phone. There's my pot. Okay, this is what you need. Is a doodle. I don't know the English word for it.
String winder.
String winder in Saarländisch, where I come from, it's called a doodle. And I remember having a studio job with a French engineer. He always talked about a doodle. Okay. So next thing here is okay, Seitenschneider, you know, string cutter. How to fix your pedals, or maybe even the AMP1 on a pedal board. And we've seen the basic things is Velcro. As we all know, Velcro, the advantage is once you have this kind of fluffy stuff in your or on your pedal board, you know, anything here will simply stick on that, and you can put it on, you know, on the bottom of your pedals, and then bam, there you go.
Yeah.
The disadvantage of some of this Velcro is that the glue might melt in summer. So there are different qualities of that. Make sure you buy the one that doesn't melt.
And how do you know which one is the one that doesn't melt?
Don't ask me. I just had made bad experience, and I have the other one. And I didn't throw away the bad one. So I had one pedal moving, you know, like in summer on my pedal board, it kind of floats. Next day, you know, when the glue. Maybe somebody can write in the comments if you know whatever brand is the good one or material. I'm just saying maybe that's the cheesy one. That's my feeling. I don't know. Okay, Velcro is one option. The other option is in German maybe Fahrradkette. Hätte Fahrradkette.
Bike chain.
Bike chain things. So what this is a very nice thing that you can take out the screws from underneath here, and then we can actually do this with the screwdriver. Let's be practical. So remove the screw. The screwdriver doesn't fit the screw, unfortunately. I have another one. Maybe that's better.
Interesting question while you're screwing that stuff from Poo Ninja. Have you ever got any strange reactions or even negative feedback from sound engineers when using the BluBOX? Have any of them been
No.
confused about it, or is it
Of
totally?
yeah. At the beginning, they're all confused, and after the gig, they all love it.
Yeah.
It's always the same. Some people already know me and say, "Oh yeah, it's okay," and because the BluBOX is on my pedalboard, so I need that XLR cable on stage, not on the back of the stage where my cabinet is placed. I need it in the front of me where my pedalboard is.
Yeah.
So here, this is the screw, and this is the Fahrradkette thing.
Chain link, I think it's called.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So now, the screw is going in. Where's the camera? This one is the camera now. So, so you can see this is screwed into the metal housing, and then I have another hole here, and I can use that to put it, on my pedalboard, and that's rock solid. And what I like about it is, like any temperature, it will not melt, and it's reversible. You don't, your pedal will not be glued with all that stuff. So that's kind of an elegant way.
Yep.
Then we see tons of cable ties, and we can have those here around. Where's the camera? This one now. And it works, but it's not the most elegant way. And I see many AMP1s also fixed with stuff like that. You do what you do. I don't mind. But let me show you our easy locks. This is the easy lock. This is the easy lock. And the easy lock is clean, it has no glue, it's a magnet, it's a neodymium magnet, and I think we can try to mount some easy locks. If you have the pedal board.
I do, coincidentally, have one.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah. Maybe we put this on top of the switcher. Wait a minute, I put something underneath here so we don't switch too much.
Yep.
Something like this. So if the camera on top camera sees anything of we are out of the picture. You know what? Come on, we move it over here. On top of the iridium, I have. Well, let's do. Wait, we have this beautiful DI box to put it up here, and then I put something on top of the iridium, not to kill the iridium. Wait a minute. I have a T-shirt. And here, by the way, this is the summer T-shirt of 2021.
Yeah.
And this is the AMP1 T-shirt, which you can buy in our store. And this is very handy to protect an iridium from a case.
It is.
So
Nice comment from Hardy, who says maybe that non-melting Velcro would be a good thing for the BluGuitar store, alongside some other useful little things that you talk about on the Academy of Tone every week.
You are right. Well, if our resources at BluGuitar would be endless, I had ideas for like the minus boost, which I always recommend for a second master volume. Little helpers like that. I actually started prototypes with that, and like micro pedal size effects, special switches, like these little helpers and tons of that things. But I found out, let's put it that way, at this point, BluGuitar is a small company that focuses on the amps and putting all the energy to that. And if we are maybe a bit more up and running in that field, we can expand to that stuff. Ideas I have so many little ideas which will help also other products. It's like if you have a PV amp, I have some ideas. It's because I live in this world, and it's I hate to see people suffer. And sometimes I go on stage and think, man, it's sometimes I see great stuff and I'm impressed, about personal solutions or great combinations. And wow, chapeau, I'm very impressed. But sometimes I think, oh man, you should use that. And some of the stuff is simply not available. Here's another thing. I have to talk to you. The other day I tried to help somebody with his tone, and I rediscovered our speaker cable. It's like I had a regular speaker cable connected to a Bogner cabinet, which is a nice cabinet as well. I own one. And this guy has also a Bogner cabinet, and I thought, okay, I make exactly his setup. Use his Bogner V30 Celestion loaded cabinet, and then I put the amp and I did the settings, and then when I thought, oh, I like this. This is pretty good. This is kind of just next to the cabinet was my BluGuitar speaker cabinet. Here, this the BluGuitar speaker cable, and then I plugged in this cable and I said, now we are talking. Everything was. This was what I wanted to hear, and that was this little extra thing that I was missing. And anyway, it was there. So every detail can be important, and we've done this because there are some speaker cables on the market, and some of them are great, but I couldn't find my tone. And I'm sensitive to that. At least my signal chain is fine. And the Velcro, I found a solution because I can buy something that works. And BluGuitar will probably never do stuff that you can buy from others. Because if you can, buy theirs. I mean, we offer stuff that is different. If you don't hear the difference, it's good for you. I hear the difference, and I only release stuff that I think is not available. So that's simply my rule of thumb. Okay, let's go back to install a EasyLock pair. Where did we put them? Okay, these are the EasyLocks. This is a very handy thing which you can download from our website. In German, it's called Schablone. English, I have no idea. What it does, it shows you 115 millimeters. And this is the distance where you mount those magnets so they will fit for the AMP1 counterpart. Let me do something really brutal. I just put it here and say, this is where an AMP1 might go. So this is, wait a minute, we come even a bit closer here. And one little hint. If you print it out on your regular PC printer, make sure your computer does not an extra auto scaling. You know, because sometimes you print a picture and the computer thinks, oh, I make it bigger or I make it smaller because it looks nicer. Then the 115 millimeters is not correct anymore. So make sure you actually have like 100%, not 97 and not 100, whatever, 3%. So, and the good thing about this, you can see where your amp would be located on the pedal board. You can put it in that corner, in the middle, whatever. I just put it here. So the next thing I would do is maybe to make it easier, make some holes, and this will be torturing the amp underneath. Who cares? Done. And another one here. And okay, I hope I don't kill the studio. So here are my two holes, and now I get out the screws and the EasyLocks. And by the way, there are some extra washers which might be needed depending on the kind of surface you have. My personal idea is usually I don't need them. And now, so this is the tricky part. I will put them in here. where's my screwdriver? There's my screwdriver. I hope this one makes sense with this screw. Okay, fits. So, and then where's my other screw? That's the other screw. And I put this in here and fits. Okay. The trick now is I don't put them over tight. I have the easy locks a little bit moving. Why? Because they kind of suck to the metal ring, and if they're not 100% tight, they can adjust to anything. So there's no air gap between that. So it's for the best contact. You know what? Let's grab that amp behind of you. Actually, I didn't switch it on, so it doesn't matter anyhow. And this, if we are totally right, this fits. So here is your pedal board with the AMP1. Yeah, wait a minute, we put it this way. So, and of course, see, this is pretty solid. Now I can play around a little bit. So we don't need the paper anymore, so I get rid of the paper. Because the paper was only needed for the positioning. I put them a bit tighter. Oh, the magnets are strong, as you can see. So. And now we can optimize the contact. How? See, the magnets can still move a bit, just a tiny bit. You know, this 1 millimeter, and they're still in contact with. So let's see if this connects. That's strong.
Yeah.
So that's the way how I like an AMP1 to be on a pedal board. That's, you know.
Yeah, that's not coming off unless
No.
you pull it off.
I really have to push.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 kilograms each side or something like that. Anyway, so this was the Easy Lock concept here. Yeah, and while having a DI box here, my little Klotz DI box, if you use the direct out, the recording out on the AMP1, usually you have no hum, but in case you have hum, use a passive DI box or use a DI box. I recommend always passive DI boxes because they always work, because there's only a transformer inside, and this is the way how to get rid of any ground loops in general. If you play a guitar amp direct, or if you play a keyboard direct, or if you have your own IR loader. The good thing about the BluBOX is the transformer is already built in. So the BluBOX is an IR loader and the DI box in one package. So, okay, so you see this is this big and this is this big. It's about the same size, but this gives you 16 sounds and the whole 9 yards. Bit more expensive though, but it gives you all this functionality.
Yeah.
So we have another T-shirt, which is the Academy of now we can talk stereo. This will be fun. Next time we have to wear the same shirts, just for fun. That's the other crazy thing when we go on trade shows and wearing the one shirts. Sometimes we are 111, or we are 11, or if we are 4, we 1111.
Yeah. Maybe we should also do it so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're differentiated by number, just in case. I mean, you'd always be number 1.
I don't care.
But then you'd have to choose then who was number 2, and that would be a difficult discussions at BluGuitar headquarters.
Yeah, there will be different numbers in the future. You will see that. Okay. Do we have any questions at this point? How late are we?
Yeah, we're just coming up to the natural end, 10 o'clock.
Okay,
almost
but
there,
maybe
local
we
time.
have questions.
Yeah, short or long speaker cable, which is better?
Um,
Does it make a difference?
it does make a tiny difference. Funny, I found out that let's put it that way, the style of the cable defines the character of the tone. Okay, now you think this guy is crazy, he's esoteric, and what's going on with speaker cables? Man, this is low impedance electronic bullshit he's talking. Whatever it is, I can hear the difference, and I will make a blindfold test with anybody that wants to challenge me. And back to the long and the short one. A short speaker cable might sound a little bit more in your face. I got used to my long cables, and that's my sound by now. I want my long cable for a certain reason. It's part of my tone now. So what is better? In the old school way, I would say shorter is better. But in my personal, I think I like the style of cable first. So I'm very happy about my cable for my tone. Sometimes when I think of different tones that I want to do, for instance, like the iridium, and I want to do really in-your-face tones, like super open, there's other cables, speaker cables, the Matthias Jabs cable. I'm impressed. I have a couple of those, short ones and long ones. I have no idea what his thoughts are. Maybe he just branded it, but it's like, okay, there is something in it. And I got my tone with this one long, whatever. That's the answer to the
But
question.
it's personal choice.
That's
effectively.
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like strings, you know.
Yeah.
What are the best strings? What is the best pick? There are different picks and strings around. You choose whatever is best for you. For me, it makes a difference. If you have a tone that is a little bit too harsh, it's like maybe I love high end. Everybody knows that I have tons of high end, but I like to have it sweet. It's like if it's harsh, I hate it. I want tons of high end, but I want it sweet. And this is what you get with the speaker cable. Why? I still wonder why. I just found a cable that does the job. Yeah.
What about standard guitar instrument cables, and what about patch cables? Any recommendations from your side, or what do you use? What's your number one choice there?
Okay, guitar cables, I'm very picky. My holy grail cable is called FetsoFlex by a company called SpectraFlex, and it's has a lifetime warranty, but it only lives half a year in my life because it's so thick and so stiff that the plugs break where the solder joint is. It always I kind of have to cut this cable all the time. So that's only used for me in the studio lately. Then I discovered some other cables. Actually, I like the Bonamassa ones a lot. From I think it's also Klotz. Lately, I discovered those, the long ones, 6 meter or something. That's a nice vintage, but open. Vintage shouldn't be dull. You know, it shouldn't be. Vintage can be. You know, we heard some nice guitars that have a warmth and a presence, but no ugliness. And so that cable, as an instrument cable, I like. There's others that I like as well, but this comes to mind right now, just for later experiments. When it comes to patch cables, on my personal pedalboard, I have some special Teflon cables, which are no brand at all. I bought like a Rolle. What's this? This like
A roll.
a roll, a roll of high-end Teflon cable from a hi-fi nerd, from a guy, he said, okay, you can have it for 50, usually it would be 300, euros, and it's probably 3 meters only. And I thought, okay, for 50, I give it a try. And I have to admit, it's a very good cable. So I used that, but on the other hand, I even use the cheap Thomann cables, which are here, Harley Benton, for the reason because they are so nice and flat. Okay, and okay, yeah. Oh, we use this one here to show. So this cable here, it's actually pretty good. I'm not missing too much here. Yeah, EBS makes such cables as well for bass. Maybe it's the same manufacturer, some Chinese. It's cheap, it's flexible, it is very nice on the pedal board because it's soft, easy to bend. You get it in every kind of length. It's a practical choice. And I'm using this as well here in my setup right now. Even with the switcher, I have this as input cables. If I go esoteric, I can, and then if you go 100% esoteric, you can even stay with one brand and one kind of cable. Here's another one, Free the Tone from Japan. You can see made in Japan, not by Deep Purple, but in this is high quality stuff. And another brand that comes to mind from Japan is Mogami. Mogami cables are also high quality, killer sound. So there is some stuff around there. But yeah, okay, that's the more I think, the more comes up to mind.
Yeah. I got an interesting question from the Poo Ninja again.
Yeah.
Have we done hot, cold chamber testing on the AMP1? What's the maximum usable temperature?
Yeah, we have done. Of course, you have to do this to get your specifications on the amp.
Yep.
I have to look up in the manual because I personally didn't do that. But I think it's we don't have. Somewhere is a manual, but next room I have to look it up. It works from freezing to like almost boiling. No worries about that. This amp plays in Australia under the sun. I mean, I've been there, and I tell you, the Australian sun is about the hottest you can get. We talk about seriously 40 degrees in the shade, and like heavy. And you can put this thing on stage and have the direct sunlight on top of it, and it's still no problem. And it also plays in Moscow at minus 30 in the winter, no problem. So this is, we do these kind of tests, yeah.
Yeah. Paul Rose asks.
Oh, Paul. Hey,
Yeah,
hi,
he's
Paul.
on. Well, he's made a few nice comments actually tonight, but this is the first one we're getting to. Are you making blue cables, he says? And, well, the answer is...
We do the
Yes.
speaker cables. I actually had some prototypes of guitar cables, but then in the end I found out the market of guitar cables there's so much guitar cables on the market. Every cable brand has its own or several guitar cables. Cordial has signature cable for this guy and that, and Klotz, and you name it. I mean, every brand has guitar cables, and they are all different. I found some. If I would make the ideal guitar cable for myself, it would be the sound of the Fetzoflex. I tried that actually. The Fetzoflex sound, but in a more flexible way. And I tried that, and the result was pretty much like a Fender Custom Shop, which is halfway. but then I thought, you can buy something like that with Fender. And then I stopped there.
Yeah.
And then I thought, halfway from the Fender Custom Shop cable is killer already. The Fetsoflex gives you a few more extra bits. And the funny thing is, I met the guy from Fetsoflex at the NAMM show, and I told him about how much I love his cables and blah, blah, blah. And I bought another one. And I told him also the story about the breakage. And he said, I got the other ones that are more flexible, but they don't sound right. I tell. He thought they sound exactly the same. I tell you, they don't. Anyway, so so he couldn't offer, and I couldn't get the result yet. And to find a cable maker that goes all the way is esoteric with me, I don't have the right partner for that yet. If I find one day, I know what I want. I can tell them straight away what I want, because it's not available yet. It is the sound quality of that Fetsoflex and the usability of a modern cable. Yeah. If you find it, let me know. I buy it. Good.
Poo Ninja says his Pod HD powered off at 43 degrees. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, the AMP1 has a fan built in, which you usually don't hear. But if it's getting too warm, the fan is regulated, and the AMP1 has 2 measuring points at the output stage and on the power supply. These are the 2 position kind of in the circuit where you produce heat. And of course, that fan, these kind of 2 temperature sensors will pick up any kind of heat if it comes from the unit itself or from the outside. And then it makes the fan run faster, and therefore the AMP1 is totally safe.
Yeah.
Maybe we should, after the soccer game, we should bake one in the oven.
Yeah, someone else mentioned we should do a water test, and I was thinking, the Olympic Games are coming up soon as well, so we could do swimming with AMP1.
Okay.
Who knows?
I'm doing 30 laps.
Okay.
50 meters.
Fine.
Okay.
All right. I was thinking 1 would be enough, but if you want to do that, then
see what happens.
Go for it. Yeah, why not?
Okay, but the thing is, we put it underwater, we do the laps, and then we have to have a bit time to dry it up. I mean, I'm not talking having, a hair dryer or something, but okay, if we have a quick one, or we leave it there and maybe make a, have the clock, like for 4 hours or something like that. So we don't do the edits, but we fast forward the video.
Yeah.
So you see, we haven't changed the amp.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident that it will work. We might have... No, we have no problems. Let's try it.
Why not?
And the other thing I've thought about it is, like, I'm pretty confident too that I can run my bike over it. I can drive this way and this way. Let's see.
Why not try it?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I kicked it. So,
yeah.
So many interesting tests coming up in the future with the AMP1.
Yeah,
many things to look forward to.
Absolutely, we have some ideas, but we have to have the time to shoot those videos as well. But hey, the summer is long, and today we have a lousy day here in Germany. I mean, you're wearing short sleeve, but this is the UK style. You wear short t-shirts in winter as well.
Yeah,
I'm putting on my long sleeve because at that time of year, usually we have like 30 degrees or so in Celsius. I'm talking. And today we had like nothing. It's 18, 15. Ugh. So
I mean, in England that's summer, so I'm good. I'm getting tan.
Oh yeah. Cool. So, any other questions? Call Hosa. Hosa is a big American cable company. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an interesting choice. I mean, they do a lot of stuff with a lot of YouTubers as well, and I think they are very flexible when it comes to.
Why not?
Custom stuff.
Yeah. For me, I'm not the only... here's my story about BluGuitar. I want to do my thing, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not in this world just to do everything protective with BluGuitar. Therefore, I gave some of my knowledge to other brands as well, like the Vintage, like X-Wife, or, friends of mine that is part of a family. And so I don't mind that. So I don't have to brand everything BluGuitar. I want to make BluGuitar a very special brand, not like we offer everything. That's my concept. And so I didn't want to do overdrive pedals with BluGuitar. So I gave this to another brand because overdrive pedals are for others. We make amps. Okay. So, there's the question. Will AMP be also sturdy? Yes, it will. And it will have a flap that even protects the knobs. So I can make the car test with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We'll see. It will be sturdy, yes. It will. AMP will be expensive, but it will be anything I can think of. Yeah. Okay. Solder free. What is personally, I like Harley Benton solder free patch cable kit. It has a low capacitance, yes, and it's easy to get length solder free. Mechanically, it's also sturdy and portable. Yeah, there's George L's and there's blah blah blah. There's so many. That's another thing why I don't want to do cables, because there are too many out there, and there's already a lot of good choices there. I think the market doesn't need me to do another cable at this point. And the solder-free stuff, it comes very handy because you can cut the length. The other thing is, well, if it's done right, it's actually sturdy. If it's not done right, you can, if you don't know how to tighten the screws and stuff, then it's not so good. I'm not saying soldering is better. If you make a bad soldering job, it's also shit. But let's put it that way. If you have a properly soldered cable, that's probably still, in theory, the best connection you can get. But if you have a good solder-free set, it will do a super job as well. So, yeah. What else is on the question? I love AMP1. I think. Yeah, I have 60 boutique amps too. Okay, wow. This gentleman is. I love AMP1. I think it's real special. I have 60 boutique amps too. Yeah, it's another boutique amp in a boutique to go. That's actually our slogan, and this is what I wanted. So you are exactly. You're telling me my story, why I did the whole thing. It's just another boutique amp. I'm not saying this is better. It is what it is, and it is just a nice compact one of those, and not lower level.
But also great to get feedback from someone who obviously has played a lot of boutique amps as well, and counts the AMP1s in the same category.
Absolutely.
As those boutique amps.
I mean, I wouldn't do it if it wouldn't be that level for me. But if other people share that with their own opinion, that's absolutely why I did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it if, I wouldn't have done the whole thing. You know, I still would have other choices. I could become a coal miner and get no tent. No, I'm joking. So, last question, or all good for today?
Let's transfer the rest of the questions to next week, to the next time. So we're getting a lot of those. And we have an exciting interview to finish this week on, don't we?
Yeah, so I had the chance to play with my Blue Plays Hendrix project on last Saturday. And since I believe that I play with some very interesting people here, I want you to know my colleagues. And I started today with Reggie Worthy, the bass player. He also sings a bit, but the main singer is David Reedman. I also have done a little interview with David, but it would be too long today, so we saved it for another time. But tonight or today, whenever you watch this, is Reggie. Hey, I'm not talking much about it. Just enjoy the video, because this guy is a monster when it comes to bass tone. He is a monster when it comes to groove. He is that kind of a true bass player. I mean, he's I would consider him as one of the best bass players. Whatever best means, but whatever, he needs to have that kind of one of those mark. He is on that level. I mean, he played with Ike and Tina Turner when he was 21, and he played. Look on his website with basically everybody in the industry. And here in Germany, he also plays with Stefan Stoppock. And when Reggie is there, there's a certain spirit and there's a certain energy and there's a certain groove in the band. And if you connect with him, it makes the band a different band. And that's his personality. Maybe you get that from the interview. So enjoy my little interview with Reggie, and see you guys next week. And yeah, you might be there too. Yes, no, we don't know yet.
No, we haven't talked about it yet.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, we talk about
Who
this.
knows?
Who knows? Okay, guys, enjoy Reggie and see you next week.
See you.
Cheers. It's such a big pleasure to have you sitting here next to me in my hometown, Saarbrücken. We go back like, I don't know, 10 years maybe?
Yes, at least, Thomas. Yeah, at least 10 years, man. I remember I saw you first on a video of your song. I forgot which song that was. You probably know. And I said, wow, that's some interesting stuff there. And then I got the call to help Rawl out for a gig or something, right? And that's how it started. And it must have been, 10
years, kind of.
Least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we played some Blue Place Hendrix, and then with Eddie we played in Braunschweig.
Oh yeah, with Eddie Phillip. Phillip, Braunschweig drummer. We played. What gig was that? Oh, it was that guitar night in Braunschweig.
Yeah, some very guitarish.
Very cool stuff. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is one of the first gigs for me this year. Did you play this year already?
Oh yeah, I've had a couple gigs, and of course we had some streaming gigs with Stefan Stoppock.
Yeah, Stoppock.
Did a nice streaming concert. Man, it was really cool. It really worked well. But it's just different than when you have an audience, you know.
Yeah.
Just streaming is just playing like almost like a rehearsal, you know. But I played two weeks ago. I did a concert with the Hamburg Blues Band. Oh yeah. We played in Budapest 2 weeks ago, and the day after that I played with Chrissy Matthews, and also a great guitar player from England, London.
Yeah.
And we played in Budapest, and so it's like picking up, man. And next week I'm playing with Stopwalk again, and so there's quite a bit to do. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Some people know it, but most people that watch my channel don't know that you have been like the original bass player in Ike and Tina Turner band.
Oh,
what's that story?
I don't know if I'll call it original. Then I would have to be at least 85 or something. But no, I wasn't the original bass player. But I was one of the bass players, for them for the last 3 years that they were together.
Right. And did you do any recordings with them?
Yeah, we recorded some stuff there. We were actually when I joined the band, it was like when we're not on the road, we're in the studio. And we recorded quite a few things.
Any of those hits? Or?
I don't know. Baby, get it on.
Yeah.
Baby, get it on. You know I've been waiting too doggone long, so come on, baby, get it. That one, and we recorded some stuff. Lean on Me. I remember recording that with Tina, and we did a Led Zeppelin song.
You talk about Whole Lot of Love.
Whole Lot of Love. Tina sang the heck out of that song.
Ah, okay. I love it.
And I don't know, Golden Empire, a lot of stuff we recorded and, things were going around. It was hard to define what was really used.
Right.
But we were in the studio quite a bit at that time. Unfortunately, I didn't play Nutbush City Limits. I was still a baby when that came out. But,
before your time.
Yeah, Vision. Yeah. But I played it a lot. And
of course, live.
Yeah. And of course, that's a great bass line on that one. For sure. Yeah.
So what's kind of your best memory from that time? Is there any particular story?
Best memory from that time?
Yeah, you want to share?
Oh, God, there's quite a few stories.
Just give us
as a young man, I was like 21 or something when I tried in that band. I was quite young, 22 maybe. And I went to somebody, first of all, I got a call from a drummer by the name of Michael Moore, really great drummer. And he told me that Ike and Tina Turner were looking for a bass player. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he gave me the number. I called and went for the audition. Mm-hmm. The rehearsal, which was in their studio in the rehearsal room. I got a big studio in Inglewood, California. Mm-hmm. I went there and did the audition, and they liked me. And they said, "Yeah, great, come on." And 2 days later, we were on the road.
Easy?
That's how it happened, just like that. Easy. Yeah. And you learn to show, when you're young, you can just learn stuff really fast and quick. And
that's it.
And that's it. And you go on the road and do it. And there's a lot of learning and a lot of fun. And that was quite a big experience from me,
Right.
as a young man, just getting into the business, because I grew up in New Jersey on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, other side of the
And
US.
when I was 21, my mother moved to California.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm going out to California too, man.
Yeah,
I could have gone to New York, and saying hit the New York scene.
Yeah.
But no, everybody wants to go to California.
Yeah.
So I went out west.
Yeah.
Packed everything into my little Dodge Dart car. All my clothes. Got a 6-pack of beer, and I had a big Marshall. You never saw one of these. A big Marshall 18-inch speaker box, and I tied it onto the top of my car.
Really? Fuck.
Thought I would have got my car, and made it. I went out for California, man, and
cool.
And I made it. By the time I got to California, I had blown out all 4 tires. I had to get new tires, and when I pulled into LA, I had like 75 cents in my pocket. But I mean, that's how you do it, man, when you're 21.
Yeah.
And I was out there for 6 months and got that call from Ike and Tina.
So it was all worth it,
It all worked out pretty fast.
You were dedicated.
Yeah.
And that put you in the position to be ready.
Absolutely. No question about it, man.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes you have to do stuff and you don't have to wait for
absolutely,
the miracle
man.
to come.
I agree with that 100%, Thomas. It's like you have to just jump over the cliff, man, and sometimes
it works.
Universe will hold you up, man. Say, okay, jump out there, and then boom, you get caught by the hands of God.
Yeah.
And I remember that, man, and it was quite an experience for a young kid.
Yeah.
It happened like that. Yeah.
Right. So one question here: how did the spirit change from like the 70s, 80s, 90s today? Do you feel the industry has changed? Do you feel the musicians have changed? Or is it? I mean, do you follow your instincts?
Well, in a way, I feel still comfortable with the people that I play with.
Right.
Because so many of the people, like yourself, and like Stopwalk, and like Hamburg Blues Band, they're players, you know what I'm saying? So I've been around players all my life. That's how we started. We play with musicians, we play with great cats, guys that love their instruments, want to do as good as they can, and try to feel the music and everything like that. Right. So for me, that hasn't changed over the years.
Yeah.
But if I think about what's happened with the industry, and especially the radios and Spotify, and also with sampling and looping and all these different things, I guess it's changed for a lot of. I mean, if you're young, that's all you know about the sampling and looping, and all you know is Cubase and
Logic
and digital stuff. You know,
Yeah.
that's just all you had.
Yeah.
But and it's the same with amps. You know, if you only know dark glass or these Class C amplifiers
Yeah.
with these like digital
power amps.
these power amps and
Yeah.
stuff that give you 2,000 watts and you can pick it up with one finger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you only know that, then you you won't notice the difference between having that
old tube SVT
and SVT, two SVT with an 810 box,
Yeah.
and an 800 watt Class C
Yeah.
amp for these new ones with
Yeah.
a little speaker box that you can carry under your shoulder, but there is definitely a different sound,
Yeah.
and I think that's missing a lot because I think even I would even say. Even in the PAs, in the sound systems now,
It's
with
different.
live concerts, with all these digital,
It's too clean.
it doesn't go as deep.
Yeah.
It doesn't go into your.
I totally agree. I miss the dirt, the punchy, warm mid-range that connects.
That connects to the heart. That's
Yeah.
right, man.
And then this is what it's all about. This is why I love my old Marshall, and this is still my reference up until today. So, I totally get that point, because for me as a guitar player, it's the same thing. If I don't feel connected, it's not worth it.
It's not working. You know, right? It's just it's like you're blowing hot air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back in the days, you didn't have another choice. I mean, the only choice you had smaller amps, like what was the portable Ambec thing where you could flip.
Yeah, the B15N. Yes.
Yeah, I know that too. But this had a full sound already.
Yeah. It had the show. It had the quick.
And then-
quality, yeah.
Then I think they lost it over the transistor period already.
Yeah. That was the start of it, really.
Yeah. And this is where the tone got lost.
Yeah.
And then finally, with the modern Class D's thing, it's also lost. And this is why I make my amps different. I mean, one day I explain it in detail to you, but it's like I'm using all technologies from the tube to transistor, but everything is there to make it sound like the good old stuff. Anything.
Yeah. Well, I could tell what was happening today on the stage when we played today. I said, man, it's kicking.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it if it wouldn't be like that.
Something's happening there. Something's going on. Good luck with that, man.
Yeah. Talking about groove, I mean, you groove.
Groove, yeah.
You are such a groovy bass player. I think groove means a lot to you.
Oh yes, it does. It feels the feeling. It feels right. That means a lot to me. How the music feels. It feels.
And
when it feels right, then you're inspired, definitely.
And that's also something like connecting to the other players.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's been talked about so much. I'm not quite sure if anyone really knows what it really is, but.
I think you are such a sensitive.
Oh yes, no,
guy.
definitely. We are. When you notice and feel it, then yes, it makes a difference.
Yeah,
it makes a difference.
I can tell when you are happy.
Yeah,
When it's happening.
Yeah, you can look at me and you can see when I'm and you, but you know it too. You know when the groove is in there. You know it. You might not show it as much as I do, but when I miss it, I'm like, I gotta work on that though.
Yeah.
I shouldn't show it so much, but
No,
yeah.
no, it's totally cool. I think it's such an important quality in music, and some people play too much from their brains and not from their hearts.
Yeah, that's right, man. You know, it's almost it's all like folk music, man. You listen to people in every country, every land.
Yeah.
When there are people playing their folk music, when they're playing their music, it grooves, man. People,
Yeah.
It's just so natural.
Yeah.
And it's not about being exact because the kids are making noise and the parents and the mothers, but it's grooving. You know what I'm saying? That's its feel, and that's what it's all about, man. It's just not black music grooves or African.
No. Any
Every
music.
folk music, everybody's music has something, man. And when that gets going, then it goes for itself, man. It just takes, and that's what we like and love. And if I could just, what helps me, what makes sure that I keep my feel, man, is like I like to dance, man. I like to when I'm practicing. I like to dance. I like to, even when I'm practicing. practice while I'm moving.
Moving. Your body has to follow.
So my body has to
Open
follow, or the hands have to follow the
Yeah.
body, or the guitar has to follow the hands, or the fingers have to, just that it all somehow gets the flow, man. Just stays in the flow, and that's very important
Right.
for me as a bass player.
Yeah.
But not just as a bass player. I think everybody should dance. All musicians should have a feel for moving. I mean, yeah, you look at every bass player that I know. Marcus Miller's dance. Victor's dancing. Stanley, Jocko was a dance. You ever see Jocko on stage? He's always doing his little moves,
You know
This is a
what?
step.
I have my dance shoes on.
And you got your dance shoes on.
So these are my stage shoes.
Yeah, you had those a long time. I remember those, man.
And actually, I love these shoes because when I put those on, they have a very slippery
sole, and you can do your gliding and shit. Yeah.
And this makes me feel like, okay, now I'm free.
You're free, man.
On stage.
And that is so
and that
important.
helps me. So this is my stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is so important.
That puts me in a different mood.
Yeah, and basically it helps you to get the groove. You can stay in the groove, and makes it easier for you to move. And that's for me, that's like really so important.
Okay, guys, here's the lessons. Get the right shoes.
Get you some right shoes and get you moving, man. Do moving to your even with how difficult it is. Just move, just keep when you're practicing, get your little groove going, man. And I tell you the truth, man. That's very important to me. When sometimes when I'm at home and practicing, I'll put on some what do I call like house music or something.
Yeah.
Like these DJs doing this house music and these people like dancing and grooving and having fun and stuff like. And I'll practice to that. I'll do my own stuff against that stuff, man. Do my practice just for the feel, And then it's amazing when you're grooving. When I'm really grooving, I can play anything, man. It'll be right there, man. I don't have to think about it. It just falls.
Right.
It falls right in the right place.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's what we need. And when you're there, it almost doesn't matter what note you play. If it fits in there, it's because
in the groove. It makes sense.
It makes sense. Absolutely.
And if it makes sense, and if you have the right note at the ending, it's everybody happy.
Absolutely,
and you can
man.
go as crazy as you like, as long as you're in the groove.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
I totally share that.
And that's what the groove is for me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey Reggie, thanks so much for the internal insights in a little bit. We might continue another time.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward for our next gigs.
Yeah, man, definitely. Me too, man. I really look forward to coming down here, or you come up north, whatever we do, man. We meet somewhere in the middle. I don't care. Let's play.
Yeah.
Let's play, and as much as we can, because with these times, you don't know. There could be another lockdown in October, November. Yeah. The flu season comes, and I say, okay, we have to bring things down again. And so it might take another year, man, before we meet. You know what I'm saying? It could be next year again. Or so let's hope for that. Hope for the better. And and good luck with your endeavors, with your show and
all good.
Hi, people.
Yeah. Hey guys.
And
see you next time live on stage with Reggie Worthy
and Thomas Blue.
Okay.
They're doing what we do best.